And greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. As always, we are here every Saturday and Sunday morning, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And why are we here? We are here for you. Because we can make a difference in our health when no one else can. Drugs do not provide health. Doctors don't know anything about health. They have no education, no knowledge, unless they have gone off on their own. But in their entire medical history, their education, they are not taught anything about nutrition and health, about what we should eat and what we should not eat. And many doctors are they themselves very unhealthy. So how are they to help us, to lecture us on how to become healthier? It's up to you, unfortunately, and up to me to make ourselves healthier in a world of drug therapy, processed, refined, garbage food on the shelves of supermarkets everywhere. Foods are made for a profit. Packaged and prepared foods. There are so many unhealthy ingredients in packaged foods today that they really do not qualify as food. They may be a combination of refined flour, sugar, vegetable oils, flavoring, coloring, and they call that food. America is the sickest country in the world, and approaching as almost 45% of the entire adult population to be obese. That means not overweight. That means grossly overweight. And 91% of the population of all adults is that we are overly fat. And we know that smoking kills many people from a variety of cancers and other diseases. And obesity is the new smoking. Between the two of them, smoking and obesity, is the cause of 70% of all the cancers. We are unhealthy. But you and I can become healthier if we choose to. Because everything we do is a choice. What we eat that may make us healthier is a choice. And what we eat that makes us unhealthy is a choice. So you see, we are the ones that choose health or a degree of unhealthiness. We increase the risk of us having to deal with diseases. And most diseases today that are treated by doctors with drugs are only symptoms and clues that we are not getting the right vitamins and minerals on a daily basis to make us healthy, to keep us healthy, maintain good health. And so we have symptoms of a deficiency of nutrients that we are not getting because we are not eating the right quality of food. And they call those diseases, which makes them treatable only by drugs. So when people do not eat well, and they are not getting enough vitamins and minerals, we see deficiencies in the bodies of those people that are not eating enough quality vitamins and minerals on a daily basis, like vitamin A, vitamin C, all the other vitamins, B-complex, whatever it might be, and zinc, and selenium, and iron, So we see side effects of a deficiency of being unable to get all the vitamins and minerals on a daily basis because we are not eating right. We're not eating the foods that provide the best levels of nutrients. And most of the foods today are grown in soil that is depleted of nutrients. And then those foods go through a tremendous amount of processing and storage and steaming or cooking. All these steps of processing of foods from when it is picked from the field till it gets to the table, all these steps, peeling, paring, blanching, storage, cooking, boiling, all robs the foods of the nutrients. So we are not getting all the nutrients every day. That's why I think everybody should take a multivitamin and mineral supplement to make sure that their body has a higher level of all the nutrients. And I don't mean one a day. You can't put all the nutrients that we require on a daily basis in one little tablet. Impossible. So if you want a really good multivitamin and mineral supplement, you should look for one that provides all the nutrients in meaningful levels. That's the problem. I can make a product, a multivitamin and mineral supplement, and put all the vitamins and minerals on the label. But if they're not there in levels that the body requires, what good is it? So if you look at a label of a product and you say, wow, look at all these ingredients. Yeah, what does that mean? That looks like looking at a million pennies and saying, wow, look at all this money. But it means nothing. Though it has some meaning, but not what it should be. So that is our conundrum, because we are not getting all the vitamins and minerals to be healthy, all the nutrients, all the accessory food factors, all the polyphenols, the bioflavonoids, all of these compounds that are provided by real food, grown in the right way, not GMO. If possible, and you have the budget, organic, yes. But even then, I would still take a multivitamin and mineral supplement, at least one that provides a good array of all the nutrients in meaningful levels in 2 tablets daily, even 4 tablets daily. I take a multivitamin and mineral supplement, 4 tablets daily. If you take all the vitamins and minerals that we need and you put them in your hand and you look at them and you say, well, my tablet that I take, my one a day, is only like 10% of that. Because you can't put all those nutrients in a one a day or any daily tablet. And I'm not mentioning brand names. But in any daily supplement, it has to be multiple tablets. If not, you're being short-changed of the nutrients. You're not getting the vitamins and minerals. And you don't need a woman's product. You don't need a men's product. We don't sit down at the table and eat a man's dinner and a woman's dinner and a kid's dinner. We're all the same. It's just marketing hype that provides a woman's multiple and a man's multiple and a kid's multiple. Now, I do agree with kids because you want to have a lot less nutrients because of their size and their age. They don't need as much. But there should be no difference between men and women. And when they put a little bit of something in the women's formula, it really doesn't make any difference because it's there in such a small amount that it is not meaningful. So you and I are responsible for our health. You can change your health if you choose to. And that's what we tried to bring about on this program. Our ideas and concepts and science and evidence and research that helps you plan a better, healthier lifestyle. Healthy foods, good animal proteins, about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If you weigh 150 pounds, you should get about 150 grams of protein per day. And lots of fats. Good quality fats. They're called essential fatty acids. That means they're essential. Can't live without them. And the proteins are essential amino acids. We can't live without them. There are no essential carbohydrates or sugar. We don't need them. If you're going to get any carbohydrates, it should come from low-sugar fruits and vegetables. No grains. No cereal. No popcorn. No crackers. No cookies. No pies. No pasta. You don't need all those carbs because they're all refined and processed anyway. If you go to any restaurant that serves pasta, 99.9%, it's going to be a white flour pasta. A carbohydrate that has no nutritional value but calories and grams of carbohydrates. And in America, we are consuming 400 to 500 grams of carbohydrates per individual per day. If you get on the right diet, you should not exceed at least 75 grams of carbohydrates per day. 75 versus 500. What happens to all that 500 grams of carbohydrates and sugar? It can't be used. We don't have the lifestyle to burn all that. So it turns it into fat and stored in an emergency. So all these people walking around with a lot of fat don't have an emergency. They're not going to burn up all that fat. But all those carbohydrates and sugar is stored as fat in our body, including our organs and glands. And that's why today we have so many people suffering from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a disease that is now being treated by drugs, and drug companies are trying to race each other to find the best drug for treating non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I have the answer for curing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Stop eating sugar of all kinds and stop excessive consumption of carbohydrates. You need some, but those should come from low-sugar fruits and vegetables. We can get healthy. I don't care who you are, how old you are, how bad off you are, we can improve. And we're not all going to improve the same. Some of us are going to work harder at this, have more discipline, be more strict with their health regimen. Some people are going to dabble at it. Some people are going to do it occasionally. Some people are going to do it like every other day, because they may try it for a day and then they slide off the next day and, maybe I'll go back to it again. You got to be committed. If you want health, I can guarantee you can have health without drugs, without a doctor. Your doctor should be food is your best medicine. That's your doctor. We only need food. The drugs that are being consumed today, excessively. People are on 5, 6, 10 drug prescriptions a day. 100 years ago, that wasn't true. So how did they survive 100 years ago? Well, you say maybe people are living longer today. That's true. But if you're going to live a very poor quality of life, do you want to live longer? Do we want to fill nursing homes, hospitals? You can live as long as you would if you were taking drugs, by eating better, by choosing better choices, lifestyle choices, and you can be healthier. I guarantee it. Go on the ketogenic diet or the paleo diet, low carb diet. Not by Bread Alone is a good book to read. It's a book on a doctor who changed the lives of thousands of people by putting them on a low carb diet. You need to get rid of the sugar and the carbohydrates and eat a more healthy diet. Get some exercise. Walk 20, 30 minutes every day if you possibly can. Swim, bike. Do things that keep you active with a healthy diet. Plenty of good sleep, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Look at funny movies, laugh, have a good time, enjoy life, travel all over the world, do things you like, and you can live longer and healthier. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. I just want you to know that doctors are not going to make you healthy. You know, doctors are necessary. There are some really, really good quality of doctors out there. They are really conscientious and they mean well. They have been brainwashed by drug companies and their medical school. They only know drugs. They don't teach anything about food. In fact, most doctors would say, eat whatever you want. Doesn't make any difference. Well, that's why you're unhealthy, because it doesn't make a difference. A huge, huge difference. So today we're going to talk about your adrenals. Our featured topic today is the adrenal extracts that can support the health of your adrenals. What are your adrenals doing? Where are they? Why are they necessary? We'll discuss all that. And we'll talk about why women are getting aggressive breast cancer at a younger age. And the nutrient of the day, DHA. And now we know that vitamin D can prevent SAD. 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 And treating polycystic ovarian syndrome with the keto diet. Diet treats everything. And help for your ulcerative colitis. Also, Crohn's disease, IBS, ulcerative colitis are all caused by excessive carbohydrates. By changing the diet, you can cure all those intestinal tract diseases. Now, it may take a few months for some people and a few years for some people. But if you're sick and tired of dealing with ulcerative colitis, if you've been under the knife several times, and you're getting a shortening of your intestinal tract every time they do surgery, go on the diet, the ketogenic diet, or read the book by Elaine Gottschall, who developed for her daughter, who had ulcerative colitis. She went back to school, became a top-notch nutritionist, and biochemist. She was a great book. Everybody should read that. That is dealing with the intestinal problems. And you know what? You probably have a nutrient deficiency that if you took the nutrient you're missing, it's more effective than the drug. And we'll give you more ideas about how to cure dry eyes. I just ran into a good friend of mine. Said, Terry, I listened to your show and I heard you talk about omega-7 for dry eyes. Since my wife had cataract surgery, she has nothing but dry eyes. And we started using omega-7. Wow, what a difference. No more dry eyes. So let's talk about your adrenals. The adrenal glands in our body produce hormones for energy, the immune system, for your mood and muscle strength. The hormone that is one of the most important adrenal hormones and responsible for all these levels of energy, mood, muscle strength, immune system, is called cortisol. C like in Charlie, O-R like Robert, T like Tom, I-S like Sam, O-L, cortisol. It is one of the most important adrenal hormones made by the adrenals. So overworked adrenal glands. How do we overwork adrenal glands? Because our glands have to be there to respond for all of the different stress factors in our life. The adrenal glands produce cortisol and other hormones to help us fight against stress. And this stress, going back to caveman, the caveman used a lot of adrenal hormones when they were chasing an animal, hopefully to make that animal their food for the day, or they were running away from a bigger animal that intended for the human to be their food for the day. So the more we work, the harder we work, the more stress we have. And stress can come from all kinds of different fractions. Temperatures, cold temperatures, hot temperatures, relationships, funerals, marriages, financial, all kinds of conditions that we see today are burning out the adrenals. So we have adrenal insufficiency and burnout. And what happens when we have adrenal burnout? Well, that can cause a sensitivity to cold, low blood pressure. I've heard this often. Doctors are so concerned about high blood pressure that when they see somebody with low blood pressure, they're overjoyed. But they don't realize that low blood pressure is also a sign and a symptom that the body is not working in balance. So some people have a blood pressure of 100/60 when it should be 120/80. And the doctor says, that's great. That's not great. You feel like crap. You're tired. You're exhausted. You can't sleep. You have a weak heart and weak pulse. You have a very slow metabolism. You're constipated. You're always coming down with some illness. You're catching the flu, a cold, upper respiratory tract infections, and you have a lot of fearfulness. People that have very weak adrenals are very weak people. Very weak muscle structure, Overall, they tend to be making mountains out of molehills. Everything is wrong. They complain about everything. They cry about everything. They're never happy. They're always sick, allergies, whatever it might be. And they fear everything. They're always negative. They're never positive about anything. That shows a very overworked, insufficient function of the adrenal glands, causing adrenal burnout. So diet is so critical. And I know this from my own personal journey on health and nutrition. In my early years, I had a very, very weak adrenal. I worried about everything. I cried about everything. I was not happy. I was always negative. Everything was going to happen. The sky was going to fall. You know, that kind of feeling? Everything is wrong. And my diet at a time when I had all these kinds of negative attitudes was a very high carb diet. I could sit down and eat a quart of ice cream, eat a big bag of potato chips, junk, 3-4 candy bars in a day. That's how I grew up. And that's a long story, and I won't bore you with it now, but I had 3 angels that changed my life. And that's why I stayed in this industry of teaching and educating people that you can be better. I would have been dead by now if I would have stayed in that same journey I was then. So the diet has to be extremely valuable for adrenal function. And I've got a break here. I'm just getting a signal that I've got to pause. So don't go away. I'm going to tell you about how to change your diet when we come back right here on Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally. And welcome back, my friends. This is Terry Naturally. And we're starting the second portion of our show. We're going to be here to the top of the hour, right here on Terry Talks Nutrition. We're talking a little bit about your adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are very small glands. They're about the size of a kidney bean. And you have one on the top of each kidney. You have 2 kidneys. You have 2 adrenal glands. One gland sits on the top of one kidney and the other. And the adrenal glands produce hormones to maintain your health, your muscle structure, your strength, even the quality of your hair, and how positive you are. Now, I'm sure many of you know Joel Osteen, the pastor for a Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas. You may have seen him on TV. You may have seen pictures of him. He is a powerhouse of adrenal function. See the hair he has? That's because he has very, very strong adrenals. He's a very strong, physically person. I mean, he does not work out like a bodybuilder, but he has been shown to lift in a bench press at about 160 pounds of body weight, 350 pounds. He is strong and positively strong and strong positively. He has strength throughout. Now you take somebody like me, I'm a very weak adrenal person. I don't have that muscle structure. I can't bench press that much weight. I don't need to or I don't care to, but the fact is I don't have that strength. And in the years past, I was not positive. I had a bad mood. I was irritable. I was obnoxious. People hated me. And I didn't care. I hated them too. That's your adrenals killing you, burning you out. So the diet is really critical if you want to rebuild and recharge your adrenal function. The diet definitely has to be low carb. No sugar. Nothing with sugar. My diet previously, years ago, was high carb, only carb. 2 or 3 bowls of cereal with 2 or 3 tablespoons of sugar in each bowl of cereal. Everything had to be white bread, white flour, white garbage, white carbs. Carbs, 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 carbs. And that's why I was so moody, irritable, angry, obnoxious. Then when I changed my diet to high protein from all animal sources, lots of fats, all butter, cream, lard, bacon, olive oil, MCT oil, lots of fats. Very, very low carbohydrates, about 70 grams a day from low sugar fruits and vegetables. So we need lots of protein, very, very low carbs, high quality fats, and salt. Because when the adrenal glands fall out of balance, it retains potassium and excretes sodium. So using Celtic sea salt, not refined white salt that the little girl with the umbrella sells, not white sea salt, that is processed and refined, it's really not valuable, but Celtic salt or Himalaya salt is good too. These salts contain lots of minerals and sodium. And I recommend that you take about a half a teaspoon of salt, up to a teaspoon, half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of Celtic salt, and put it into a quart of water and let it dissolve. And that is your drinking water for the day. And you could drink up to 3 quarts a day of salted water. It'll do you a favor, tremendously a good favor. Salt is not going to cause your blood pressure to go up. That is a rare occasion. It has been proven that salt does not cause blood pressure increases. So if you want to know more about my diet, go to my website, Terry Talks. That is TALKS. TerryTalksNutrition.com. And you can look at my newsletter. You can read all the past newsletters. You can sign up for my newsletter. You can listen to the radio show no matter where you are in the world, because we broadcast locally in the Green Bay, Wisconsin market, but primarily we live stream it to the website, so you can listen live anywhere you want by changing your time to be on the same time schedule we are in the Central Standard Time in the USA. But you can also pull up any radio show that is in the archive section and listen at your convenience. But when you're looking for my diet, click on Terry's Traditional Diet. And right now, I think I've told you in the past, my New Year's resolution in 2021 was to write 10 books. I have 7 or 8 of them done. I should have 2 more done by the end of the year. And for next year, sometime probably mid-March or April, I'm writing quite a large volume on lifestyle choices and my diet. So look for that in spring of next year. And if you're looking for any of my books that I've written, I have written about 13 books right now. You can find them on my website, and you can also find them on Amazon and in many health food stores across the country. Now, how do you restore the adrenal gland function? With adrenal extract. Because like homeopathy, which is based on like, cures like. So when you have a thyroid disorder, you take thyroid extracts. And when you have an adrenal disorder, you take adrenal extracts. And they have been used to treat adrenal gland and their function and for other benefits since at least the 1930s. But you know, this is not very pharmaceutical. You can't patent adrenal extracts. So nobody wants to spend money on researching and selling adrenal extracts because they're not patentable. So no drug company is going to want to prove that they work. They want a synthetic, never known before. Something that's never been on the planet before they developed it in the laboratory. They can patent that and charge whatever they want to charge for it, which they do. But granted, it costs a lot of money to make a drug. It doesn't cost a lot of money to make food or adrenal extracts. You want an adrenal extract from bovine, from cow. And it's a natural source of very active hormones that are produced by the adrenals and other nutrients to support the function of the adrenal glands. These are grass-fed animals from Argentina, and they are the preferred source of the adrenal extract. You can also combine, this is a product that I use all the time because I know my adrenals were down to nothing. And now with my diet, my ability to sleep well, recharge, renew, and refresh, my adrenals are now as healthy than ever before. So I use adrenal extracts combined with other nutrients such as licorice, another herb called Rhamania, DHEA, which is the other hormone of the adrenal glands that counterbalances cortisol. So when cortisol levels go up, they go up in lieu of the stress that people are under, and DHEA goes down. It's like on a teeter-tot. When you take more DHEA, cortisol comes down. Then also, I take pregnenolone. Pregnenolone is the mother of all hormones. Vitamin C, vitamin B complex, and especially B6 from P5P, the biologically active form of vitamin B6, and pantothenic acid, and L-tyrosine for chronic fatigue and adrenal burnout. Superior results. Now, unfortunately, we have to change the subject. More women are getting aggressive breast cancer and at a very young age. Such a sad state of affairs. More young women with late-stage breast cancer than ever before. Breast cancer is the most common cancer among women. And you might not believe this, but this is a fact. This is the common cancer among women ages 15 to 39. A new study reports that stage 4, the worst stage of cancer, and the rate of stage 4 cancer in women under the age of 40 has jumped to 20% over a 5-year period. This follows a trend in other types of cancer as well, and like colon cancer, of more younger people getting more aggressive cancers. There will never be a cure for cancer. Because cancer is caused by our choices. 98% of the cancers are caused by what we do every day. And the bulk of the cancers that are caused in humans is caused by smoking and obesity. So one of the major causes of cancer, late-stage breast cancer in women ages 15 to 39, is carbohydrates, sugar, and a gain of weight. Fat people get sicker and get more forms of disease than those that are more in fit shape. There are 3 nutrients that are being researched now for breast cancer prevention. 70% of breast cancer cells have receptors for estrogen. This is estrogen receptor positive breast cancer. And you know that all those fat cells in both men and women are producing extra estrogen, more aggressive estrogen. So that's why men have boobs when they are overweight. Man boobs. Because of the high concentration of estrogen in men. And most men after 40 no longer have the ability to have an erection because they have too much estrogen. It's been estimated that 50% of the men between the ages of 30 and 70 do not have the ability to have an erection. Estrogen is produced by all those fat cells in our body. Now, one ingredient is called DIM. D like dog. I am like Mary. DIM. DIM is a substance that's extracted from cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli. And it helps keep estrogen in its healthy state versus unhealthy state. Has also been shown in laboratory studies to reduce the growth of breast cancer cells by up to 50%. And then we could add to that DIM curcumin. Curcumin has the ability to inhibit breast cancer cell replication by 80%. All women, unfortunately I would have to say all women, because of the large percentage of women being overweight, and then I've talked to a lot of women that are overweight, and then they ask me about a supplement, and they say, "You're sure this won't cause estrogen increase?" And in 99.9% no. But all the weight they are carrying is continuously producing estrogen. So curcumin, up to 80% inhibition of breast cancer cell replication, the production of cancer cells, and the spreading of cancer cells. And a 40% reduction in tumor size associated with curcumin in an animal model of human breast cancer. 40% reduction in tumor size. Barely does a drug come close to that. And then grape seed extract. Grape seed extract inhibits, based on an enzyme called aromatase, that increases estrogen formation and converts androgens to estrogen. Tamoxifen is the drug, which also is an aromatase inhibitor. But grapeseed extract is more effective, or as close as effective, as the drug tamoxifen. So if you can find a formulation with DIM, curcumin, grapeseed, I would take about 120 milligrams of DIM complex. That's about 30 milligrams of pure DIM, plus 250 milligrams of curcumin, and grapeseed extract once or twice daily. This will give you a huge ability to reduce the risk of breast cancer. Now let's talk about DHA. D like in David, H like in Harry, A like in Apple. DHA. DHA is an omega-3 fatty acid. Omega fatty acids really truly are the building blocks of the cells, especially in the brain. 60% of the brain is fat. That's the only place you want to have an excess of fat, is in your brain. 90% of the omega-3 content of the brain is DHA, which is an omega-3 fatty acid. So DHA is linked to depression, ADHD, ADD, learning disabilities, increased risk of dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. And especially, DHA is extremely critical. Especially a high level of DHA during pregnancy, because of the development of the infant, where this DHA helps to improve the function of development of the brain. So supplementation with EPA, which is another fatty acid, omega-3 fatty acid, and DHA. Now you have a combination of EPA and DHA, omega-3 fatty acids during pregnancy and infancy, improves motor skills, and raises mental development scores in children later in life, as the mother used it during pregnancy. So here's a way to increase your DHA levels. DHA cannot be created in the body. Our bodies cannot make it. So we have to look for a source, food source, that supplies DHA. So it must only be obtained by food. And fish oil is not the best choice. Fish oil is the oil from the body of the fish, where all the concentrated toxins are stored. And the omega-3 fatty acids in the body of the fish, or the fillet, are attached to triglycerides, a very weak form of delivery of DHA and EPA to the cellular level and the brain. So you want DHA and EPA from the head of the fish, the head of salmon, where it's clean and safe, even for pregnant women and infants and kids. These fatty acids, the DHA and the EPA, found in the head of the fish. Now, you're not going to eat fish heads, although some countries do. But you look for a fish source, a salmon source, that contains DHA and EPA in a tablet form or capsule form, I'm not sure which. But you want one from the head of the salmon. These fatty acids are not bound to triglycerides. They're bound to phospholipids, not the fish oil triglycerides. And they're based on a 2-to-1 ratio of DHA to EPA. And DHA is especially important for developing babies. Efficient transport. They're well absorbed. It allows for a very small dosage because they're absorbed up to 50 times more effectively than fish oil. And fish oil is not stable. It's rancid. It's not the best choice. Where phospholipids are very healthy for the body, especially the brain. And the phospholipids that are extracted from the head of the salmon contain 5 phospholipids that are exactly the same 5 phospholipids in the brain of humans and in exactly the same ratio. And the head of the salmon also is a source of peptides, which are proteins, which have health benefits in their own right. It plays a huge role in reducing anxiety, heart disease, inflammation, and controlling a balance of cholesterol and improving the HDL, the good cholesterol, lowering the triglycerides, and lowering the LDL, the bad cholesterol. And this form of extraction from the head of the salmon is minimally processed. There is no heat involved, no pressing, which generates pressure and heat, and no chemical solvents like hexane. It is done with a cold water flush and an enzyme which dissolves the proteins so that it can be extracted out of the head of the salmon. It's a solid dosage, tablet capsule. So there's no problems with rancidity. And no need to swallow yucky liquid oil. And just take 1 or 2 servings daily, tablets or capsules. An ideal way to get your highest levels of DHA. Extremely critical for the health of the brain, beginning at day 1. So mothers, if you're pregnant, this is the ideal form of omega-3 fatty acids for your infant. Okay, my friends, again, we're all out of time. That hour rolls by so fast I can't believe it sometimes. But here we are again at another hour finished. So I want to remind you that we'll be back here, though, on Sunday, tomorrow, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And always, please pray for this crazy, crazy, insane world. We're not getting better, we're getting worse. And God bless you. And God bless this America.
Thank you for listening to Terry Talks Nutrition Weekly Show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, including Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio.